Hey, hey, hey! It's Em. Hope you're all awesome. Thanks for joining me. See if anyone's going to come on. I know it's the middle of the day. I'm taking a snippet in between sessions to come in and share with you guys this afternoon. How are you all, beautiful people? Let me know how you're doing. What's happening? Ooh, I like this. I really like this. Waiting and why we try to persistently, repetitively try to use time as a strategy for change. And in business, oof, it's so acute. It's so obvious. Problem plus time equals bigger problem. In business, it's probably the most obvious in terms of time lag of inaction to disaster, inaction to declining results, inaction to greater and greater complexity of problems, size of problems, what it's going to take to correct. I'm in the middle of two of them right now, one with a client and one where I am a minority shareholder of a business. And it's amazing. It is just amazing, the compounding magical effect of time. And we know, like in investments, the magic of the compounding effect of time is fabulous. Okay, and it brings me back to, and this is what I'm working on with those two situations, is how we persistently are conditioned to want to use time as a change strategy. And we've got all sorts of cultural conditioning and BS beliefs that aren't even ours, that don't belong to us, about what time can do for us. So we know time respects no man, and we know that, water under the bridge, and we know all of these phrases that in time, that time is going to somehow make things better. And in terms of problem solving, time will give people, and this is random and it's unpredictable, but time can give people closure on things. Time can give people resolution of uncomfortable emotions. Time can give people reconciliation of relationships. But time isn't actually the mechanism that's doing that. And it's really important that we unpick and separate out what is actually producing the result and producing the change, the reconnection, the growth, the new empowered perspective, the access to new behaviours, the insight into new strategies that we can pursue. It ain't time that's doing that. It's our consciousness. So time isn't doing it. It is our reflection. It's our learning. It's our insight. It's our newly acquired wisdom. It's our newly acquired resources. It's our new support network. It's our new gain of perspective. It's not time that's doing it. But because time passes, we have a distorted perception that time produced that change, time produced that growth, time produced that resourcefulness, time produced that new result. Because we are just walking around in our life, looking through our own eyeballs, not aware of the big radical changes that we're having in perception. So our changes of perception, once we have them and they're insightful and they're interesting, they just go into the background. They just go into the wallpaper of life. They just go into the wiring in the walls, and we don't see that we're consciously operating from them. So reflection strategies are massively helpful for this. So reflection strategies, not only in terms of observing the growth you have made and looking, okay, it wasn't time that produced that change, it was these things about me, it was the resources I gained, or it was the change in perspective, or it was the learning or life experience that enabled me to approach this a different way or feel a different way about this situation, this person's problem, this issue. When we do reflective strategies, we're able to separate and go, it wasn't time. It happened in time and in a time, but it wasn't time that did the work. What really did the work was our reflection, our learning, our insight, our gaining of wisdom, our gaining of resources, and our willingness to adopt different perspectives. So once we separate that out and we go, actually, it's column B. It's this area here. Those things are within our control. So although they happen in time, time is not the determinant of them. So all those things, gaining perspective, reflection, using cognitive bias unpicking, using belief challenges, looking at goal setting, looking at intentions, doing unconscious alignment work, all of those happen in time, but it's not time that's doing it. It's our will. It's our will, and it's our application of ourselves to doing those processes. So time will give you some of those things, but it will give it to you inconsistently and unpredictably. And I say to people, beware as well, because you never know what the result is. You don't get a predictability of the type of results. You don't know where that road's going to lead you because you're following blindly. It's just circumstance, who I meet, what I learn, a movie that I watch, some information that I hear, a TED talk I watched, a course I did. We don't have the predictability of the results that we're going to get. So I shouldn't have actually said the course thing. I take that back, because when we choose courses, we choose predictably what the intended outcomes are. So forgive me, I take that one out of all those things, okay? So looking at then what is producing those results, we get to consciously choose at any time that now is the time for reflection, that now is the time for increasing my perception, for getting better behavioural flexibility, for demanding accountability, for increasing our awareness, for resolving past issues that cloud my perception, cloud my judgment, that I don't have closure over. And we all know what we don't have closure over. Even the people who are like, I don't even know what you're talking about with that psychology stuff, you'll know it's the things that still bother you from the past. That is it, straight up and down. And even the people who are really good at repressing, they are still bothered by it. And I know, because I was a pretty good repressor myself, but oh my gosh, that repression strategy and waiting, that made me sick, that made me broke, that made me a substance abuser, that made me a codependent, toxic bunny, right? So it just, like, that was robbing my life. That was the whole first big quarter of a century for me. And thank goodness I discovered, through the amazing guidance of other people, through great coaches, through great resources, that time wasn't the determinant. Because I was like, surely this is going to get better. Like, this is going to get better in my business. This is going to get better in my relationships. This is going to get better in my health. This is going to get better in my coping strategies. And time doesn't give you that predictably. You can't bank on the results of time. It's basically a hope strategy, right? But we attach the hope to this construct called time, which, you know, in the past, time has done some things, but actually, remember, it wasn't time. It was the things that occurred in that time that we need to be able to reach in and get our hand on those cogs and start using those levers to give us the predictable, desirable outcomes that we want. Okay, so in sharing that, I wanted to give you guys some, essentially, that reach in. I want to give you that hand on the gears, controlling the car, determining the direction, hands on the steering wheel of going, right, so what are some basic things I can do to improve my reflection? You can do that right now. Even just basic journaling, planning your day, reflecting on your day, that is reflective skills. That increases your awareness, improves your reflection. That will facilitate learning and growth. Fabulous. Next level is getting support and accountability. Obviously, that's what I specialize in. That's what I live and breathe and love, which has given me all the gifts of my life, besides my life, which was from my parents, but it's given me all the gifts of my life in terms of business and family and relationships and friendship and relationship with myself, relationship with my body, and then my ability to support other leaders. And that's really what I had always wanted from when I was a little girl. I just wanted to help people. I wanted to help people make their dreams come true. I was always a cheerleader and a supporter, but it goes deeper than that. A coach can't just be a cheerleader. They can't just stand on the sidelines in my book and go, yep, you're doing great. Coaches are meant to give you structure. They're meant to give you insight. They're meant to give you feedback. They force the reflection when we don't want it, and then that's where the real growth occurs. So I, of course, because I've had such a strong background in business, I automatically can't not get involved. So just like if you're a soccer coach, you do soccer drills. So I do my drills that are around strategy and structure. Okay, that's why I always talk about strategy, structure, and psychology, or strategy, structure, and soul, depending on the day you're talking to me and the flavor that I'm running with, okay? But those strategic elements and those structural elements, what I discovered is, from working with businesses for years, is they weren't working when the psychology was not aligned. So if we have people who are like, oh, let's see how it goes, That's one of my like number one red light sounding alarm phrases that people use. Let's see how it goes. It's like, well, hang on, right? Unless we are setting up a structure or a strategy or a process, letting it go over a particular designated time and then measuring the feedback of that, and we have a method for that, unless we're doing that, we're using time as a hope strategy, as a let's see how it goes, mate. I'm not cool with that, guys. And if it's your business, if it's your community, even if it's your family, I work with a lot of business leaders who don't even do the structural work, they just work on their personal issues because it automatically affects their business leadership, the quality of their business leadership. When it comes to those things in my book, they are too important. So number one is if you've got a belief that you have time to waste on time, isn't that funny, self-referential? But if you have the belief that you've got time to waste on seeing if time is going to yield those results, that's the area that I would go to straight away to try and unpick and deal with on your own. Now, some people are really good at challenging their own belief systems consciously. Majority of people, it's not a normal given strategy that they've been conditioned and they've been modelled to do or developed on their own. So it's the majority of people who need support around those types of belief changes. Beliefs like time will fix this, or time will make it better, or I've got time to see how it goes, all right? So most of us don't have the capacity neurologically. I didn't. I wasn't born with it. It wasn't conditioned. It wasn't modelled. I still don't have it. I still don't have the intensity of compartmentalization to be able to switch beliefs at my will. I need to either have like what most of us need, like a metaphor, like a movie or something to give me an unconscious message, or I need a change process. So for me, I wanted the most direct, efficient use. I use change processes. And I developed my own because the ones that I was taught when I did all my training, to me, were too slow and they didn't allow people to do it independently. So make sure if this stuff, you can see that you've got it, make sure you reach out to me. There's like, this is not like, oh my gosh, there's something wrong with me because I've been using time as a strategy. No, honey, you are in the boat with everybody else. We have all been there. And the areas of life where, and business where we're ineffective, there will be some level of like waiting and hoping, which is lovely that that's our nature, that we default back to hopefulness. And also it then leads to these cycles of despair. So like I said, please start trying to challenge your beliefs, like straight up. Start to try and interrupt them. Even just starting to interrupt them with self-reflection is super helpful. Like I said, even you're just journaling, taking notes daily, that will start to build the muscle of awareness around what is running the show, what are the problems that I'm trying to either structurally in my organisation, in my communication and leadership style, in my accountability systems, even in just my personal relationships and the way I personally lead. What must be the beliefs that are underneath that for me to behave that way? That's when we can start to get some real reflective power and then go, these are the beliefs I want to change. Okay, reach out to me or my team. Let me know if you've got beliefs that you want to change, if you've got what we call values conflict, where you're pulled in between these two things and you feel like you're always sacrificing yourself. It's a huge thing I deal with business owners bringing their vision to life. And let's connect, let's figure out what's there, let's get a plan in place for you, and then you get to choose whether or not I'm right for you. The biggest part of people talking to me is you've got to determine if you fundamentally trust me and if we get you. If we get you and you can trust us, then change becomes fun, and we have lots of fun and laughter, and there's intense moments and there's work to do, but it becomes fun. If you don't fundamentally have that deep sense of trust with your coach, it will just be a constant fight with each other. So I'm always like, shop around, go check with people that you identify with, that you jam with, that you can feel that trust and connection. And that's really is, like I said, the purpose of that call, mapping everything out and getting clear what we're going to do, but also making sure we have that connection with each other. Okay, I love you all. Have an amazing afternoon. I'm going to go finish the rest of my meetings, and I get to play summer comp hockey tonight, which is what I call the gateway drug, because when you play summer comp, it's still so fun. You go, oh, I should play in the winter competition too. So I'm going to do that. We've got beautiful, I think it's 8 weeks of games, and yeah, that'll be really fun, playing with my family and siblings and nephews and nieces and my husband. It's going to be great. Okay, talk to you soon. Hope you're having a good day. Bye.